go back. Here, we said that. Now, I want us to apply the trade. We are going to apply the trade now. You have been given in the market. You have been given a signal. A signal is saying, enter back. Enter back. Back on a current price. Take 5% from the market. A call drop is 15. All right. Now here, you are going to come to your trade, to your royal queue, and tap back. I want to see clearly how to apply the strategy you have set at the other side, right? Come and say, create. Come to martingale number 1 here. Create. Now, royal queue says that they already have a strategy. Their strategy is called martingale strategy. And that is the strategy we use. But within a martingale strategy, they give you an opportunity. They say, we already have the strategy we have set in our system. If you want to use, it is called automatic. They call automatic strategy. Automatic synchronized strategy. So when you want to use their own strategy, the strategy that has already been set in the royal queue, you will come to your first next year. But for us, royal queue also say, now, if you don't want to use ours, feel free to create your own strategy. More flexibility, that there is more flexibility. You can change it anytime you want it, in any way you want it, so that the robot can work for you, work on your behalf. If you've understood that, write me 2 in the chat. If you have understood that, write me 2 in the chat. If you have understood that, write me 2 in the chat. Great. Let's continue. Now, you come to feel free to create your own strategy. Say next. Now, here, get this one very well. That the current price, what you're going to enter, your first buying amount will be here. It's saying that now here reflects the amount of back that you have bought. Here is the current price that we are entering this market. We are entering this coin called back when the market, the price is at this amount. You see that? Here, it tells you the number of margin calls. If the market keeps dropping down, it reflects how many margin calls has so far been taken in the market when the market when the market drops down. Okay? Here will show you the return rate. You get that? All right. Come here. There are 2 margin calls here. There is what we call the margin call. This is the manually created margin call. And this is the auto margin call. That means that the AI margin calls, it waits until the right time of buying. But when you put off the AI margin call like this, you are going to use your own strategy, your own setting. Your own setting. That means the setting you're going to use in your, feel free to create your own strategy. is what the robot is going to use. But as you are setting your trade here, come to your trade setting. You make sure you put your AI margin call off. Come to your trade setting here. Now, when you reach here, this is where you are going to apply the strategy you have been setting. When you reach here, you don't have to set the margin call limit again. You don't have to set this again. You don't have to set this again. You don't have to set this again. You see this? You don't have to do that. Just come to this yellow button you see called choose a strategy setting. Then tap there. When you tap, it brings you to this place where you have been setting before. You get that? Then you only tap here. Tap here. Tap this area. Any area around the cycle you have seen I have done. Any area. Now I'm going to tap there. When you tap like this, it brings all these things you have been setting there. Then what you need to do is only to change your first buy-in amount. What you have to do is only to change your first buy-in amount, right? Yeah. Then change it to the first buy-in amount. You had set the other side, this say 20. Now, if you see this, you realize that the margin call you had set 8. You had set 8 margin call. You had said the take profit is 5.01. You had said the callback is 0. This. Oh yes, we had not said this before. Here is use 0.1. This is what I use always, 0.1. Okay, I had not. Then here is one shot. Then you save. You save here. What do you do? After here, make sure that before you start your trade, make sure you set your strategy mode. Where is the strategy mode? Is this. In your strategy mode, when you click, there are 3 strategy modes. 3 strategy modes. 3 strategy modes. Number 1 is what is called the whole warehouse. The whole warehouse. Number 2 is what we call the sub-bin mode. Number 3 is sub-bin mode real-time settlement. Now, there is a post that was made on WhatsApp that was explaining what this meant. Let me look for that. Let me look for that in my crypto diamond. Look at here. The 3 strategy modes explained very well. I want you to understand this. That the 3 strategy modes explained are like this. It is important to understand how the 3 strategy modes work and when to apply each of them. Number 1 is this. Number 1 is this you see. The whole warehouse. All right? See, the whole warehouse mode is used for trades with margin calls, first margin call to fourth margin calls. Meaning it is from margin call number 1 to to margin call number 4. You get that? Okay, let's continue. Here, the robot sells all the 4 margin calls as a whole or as a unit once and delivers your profits once as a single profit with the take profit you used. It is mainly meant for trades with 4 margin calls only. Mainly used with the trade that you have set with 4 margin calls only. However, they're saying, despite that, you can still apply it for trades with more than 4 margin calls. But note that you will only get your profit once as a single unit or a whole at the end of the trade. When all margin calls positions have closed. Profits made here is returned once after all trade positions and sub sales have closed. Now, let me explain that a little. Let me explain that a little. It is meaning this. It is meaning this. Assuming you have put your margin call limit as this 8, as 8, but then as you're starting your trade, here, you forgot, or you forget to put your strategy mode to sub-bin mode or sub-bin mode real-time settlement, and you left or you leave your trade or your mod on the whole warehouse, whether the robot buys up to 8 margin calls, 10 margin calls, what, all of them will wait until the first 4 margin calls are closed. That is when they will deliver. You have understood that? If you have understood that, write me 3 in the chat. If you have understood that, write me 3 in the chat. If you have understood that, write me 3 in the chat. All right? All right? Now, let's go here. Sub-bin mode strategy. This works from faith margin calls to infinity margin calls, 5 to 100 and above margin calls. Here, the robot sells the 5th margin call as a single unit, 1 likewise. Other subsequent margin calls 1 by 1 known as sub-cells, meaning from 5th margin calls and above. The robot will sell the margin calls or sell margin call 5 and above and will not return your profits. You get that? This is meaning that from your 5th margin calls to the number of margin calls you have said, like to 8, maybe to 10, maybe to 100 margin calls you have used, the robot will sell but will not deposit your profit on your Binance account. You get me right? Now, let's go. The robot will use the profit made to pull the average price of your trade to move closer to the current price. You get that? The robot will not deliver your profit, but will use your profit to pull your current price or your average price near to the current price. Pulls the average price near to the current price. You see that? Now, come back here. Then it will not deliver anything. It will not deliver your profit on your Binance account. But look here. When you use sub-bin mode, here the robot will sell and return your profits from the fifth margin calls and above margin calls known as the sub-cells, one by one as a single unit. Charge you fuel fee immediately. Drop your profit from each sub-cells immediately. Here you will see your profits on each of your sub-cells. It makes profit. Each time it makes profit, you are able to see the profit deposited on your Binance immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, once you understand this, let me summarize this and say, when you use the whole warehouse, your trade is sold as a whole. When you use the sub-bin mode, you're saying that the robot should sell but should not yet deliver or shouldn't deliver your profit yet on your Binance. But continue to use your profit to make for you more money. But when you use the sub-bin mode real-time settlement, you are telling the robot, please, every time you sell, deposit my profit on my Binance immediately and charge the gas fee immediately. Now, ladies and gentlemen, as we summarize, because I didn't want us to take so much long in the Zoom today. I have a meeting to attend today. So I want to show you this. That anytime you set your trade, someone say in the sub-bin mode, what happens with the 1 to 4 margin calls if it starts from fifth to infinity in the sub-bin mode? Okay, that means that it sells your fifth margin call to the infinity individually, but it can't deposit the profit yet. But when it comes and the trade is to be closed, it is closed at the first margin call to the fourth margin call is closed at once. Is closed at once. All right? All right? Now, assuming you have a capital of 1,000, assuming you have a capital of 1,000, let's assume you have a capital 1,000. Someone is saying, now, which strategy should I use there? Come here. We're adding more strategy here for 1,000. For 1,000, right? Now, if you have a strategy for 1,000, put your first buy in, put your 20 margin call limit. You can say, I want to use 15 or let's say 20 margin calls, right? Take profit, you're saying, I want to take 5.01 from the market. 0.01 as the callback. Here, 0.1 as the buy in callback. Supposition take profit callback 0.1. That is what I say. Strategy period, put 1 short. Now come to your margin configuration. Now, what do you use here? Remember, you're saying we are still using back as an example. You're finding out the margin call drop The drop is given as 15. The margin call you have used 20. Now, if you use this, 15 divided by 20, get me the answer. 15 divided by 20. Okay, someone saying, now when put in sub-bin mode, profits reinvested. Now, when does the trade close? If trade keeps on reinvesting profits. Okay, when it automatically, when the first 4 margin calls are closed, then all those profits are deposited. What is the answer? We are here looking at this. Yeah, margin call limit. We said the formula is the call drop given, which is 15, divided by the margin call limit. This is 20. What is the answer? What is the answer? What is the answer? Isaac Push says the answer is 0.7. Now let's look this. 15 divided by 20. Yes, you're right. You're right. Come to your trade and put here 0.75. 0.75. Put here 0.75. Put here 0.75. Put here 0.75. 0.75. 0.75. 0.75. 0.75. Put here 0.75. 0.75. Up to the infinity, right? Up to the infinity. All right? You're looking at this. You're coming to edit here. Okay? You edit this. Margin configuration. Now, how many times? How many times? How many times? Yeah? You're saying, what is your capital? Your capital is 1,000. Your capital is 1,000. So when you have the 1,000, what do you do? Here you calculate. Divide this. Look at this. This is, if you understand this, what is this? Okay. You're going to multiply the first buy-in amount times the margin call limit. I don't know why it is this. My screen seems to be stuck. Yes. Guys, the truth is I'm not sure whether my account is safe, because I have seen my thing telling me logged into another device. And this is now what I see in my screen. This is now what I see on my screen. It has never become stuck. Now it is stuck. Okay. What is making me uncomfortable is telling me your account has been logged in another device. So yet I am only using this. All right, come back here. I was telling you that multiply this first buying amount times 20, the margin call limit, in order for you to get the multiple buying ratio from the other side. All right, number one, 20 times 20. I think this is 400, right? Now what you do here, you're going to divide. When you do that, multiply or divide, there are two or three methods you can use here. You can divide your capital, which is 1,000, dividing it by the margin calls, which is 20, huh? You see this? 1, then you divide this is 50. Number one, you can come here and put your 50 here. 50 here, eh? That means if you put 50 here, you're coming and you're going to put your 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here. 1 here. You're putting your 1 here throughout 1, 1, 1. Then you say that can be you another strategy. Then okay, that can be 1. So you can only come, they tell you in your trade saying enter back current price, create here, then you only come. When you reach here on your trade setting, you come and just click here. Choose a strategy. You have your 1,000, you only come and click here. You only come and click here. You see? Here. You click, then all will be applied in, then you only change your first buying amount. You put 50 here. When you put 50 there, put off the AI margin call here, you can check that what you have set is right away here. You see that? Is right away there. So that means every time a market drops by 0.75, it takes your first buying amount, which is 50, one time. It drops again by 0.75, it takes again first buying amount one time. It drops again by 0.7, it takes again your first buying amount one time. So when you say 50 times how many margin call limits you have used here, this is 20. This is, so that means at the end of it all, it will have taken your $1,000. Now, another strategy you can use is here. You have your 1,000, but at first you want to enter with a certain amount of your percentage in the market. Yeah, you can also come here and set another one. Say that, okay, I want to enter with 40% of my capital. What is the 40% of your capital? Is $400. You put of the AI. What is the number of margin call limit you want to use? I want to use maybe 20. You get that? So then here, you put your take profit, your 5.01. Your callback, 0.01. Buy in callback, 0.1. Allocation, 0.1. You get that? Put your one shot here. First save this. You see this? Come back and edit. Your margin call. Now, you have used your call drop is still 15, right? We are using the same coin to set all these different strategies. The call drop is going to be 15. Your margin call is still 20. That means here is still going to be 0.75, 0.75, okay? 0.75, 0.75 throughout, 0.75, 0.75 throughout, because of time now. You save here. Now we are still editing here, right? Now, after here, you start your trade immediately. Come here. Wait, we are still setting this. Now you're saying that now here you're just setting a strategy and you will go and apply the other side. Now that I have used the first buying amount, which is the 40% of my capital, what is the balance now? Now here you have used 400 already. The balance out of your capital of 1,000, so 1,000 minus 400, this is going to be 600, okay? So your capital is now 600, right? Now, you're going to imagine that, okay, after using this, you come and say, what is your first? You edit again and say, imagine and say, okay, and say, after using the 400 as the first buying amount, I want to use again, maybe another first buying amount, like the first buying amount, like 15. You put your 15 here. Now you're going to calculate using this and say 15, which is the first buying amount, times the margin call limit, which is 20. What is the answer? Or someone can say, I still want to use 20 here. I still want to use 20. 20 here, okay? You say 20, which is your first buying amount, times the margin call, which is 20. It brings us still to 400. Now here, you're going to divide the remaining capital after you have used your first buying amount of 40%, which is 400. You're going to have a balance of 600. Now you divide the remaining capital by what you have got after multiplying the first buying amount times the number of margin calls, 400. What is the answer? Divide for me 600 by 400. 600 divide by 400. Yes. Yes, you're right. What is the answer? Divide me 600 by 400. What is the answer? 600 by 400. Now, everyone is waiting for me now. Okay. 600 by 400. This is 1.5. You're going to bring your 1.5 and put here 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, then throughout like that. Now, let's assume they have told you to trade back. You only come here, create, martingale, put here, feel free, create here, choose a strategy, just apply this, okay? Now, here, you will put your 400. When you put your 400, save here, start your robot immediately. You start your trade immediately. Start your trade immediately here, right? Then, what else? What else? After starting, come back, edit, come, say, put your 20. When you put your 20, save, then all your trade will be applied. You see, all this, it will all be applied there without wasting much time. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you have endured up to the end. Thank you very much for listening, for taking all your time and waiting until the end.